Hello everyone, this is Marine and I am happy to be back with this super cute tropical themed Tada Diorama showcasing the adorable pandas from I Heart Pandas and I Heart Pandas add-on. They are so lovely and the bamboo images are amazing. I also picked the rock from Wild Wolves, a smaller one from the kanga-rrific add-on, the vine from Critters in the Jungle, the flower from Toucan Do It, a ladybug from A Bug Deal and another one from Hey Lady, the grass from Little Woodland Library, and my greeting is from Magic Messages. We have the Tada Diorama die set and a simple hillside insert. We have a stitched simple wavy border die and this die from the double slider surprise die set to make handles on both sides of my diorama. So I started off by cutting the different panels. The front panel out of light brown woodgrain cardstock. This one goes at the back and I am going to use the bamboo stencils on it. These are the moving panels and I am going to use the tropical leaves background stencils on them. I cut two simple hillside inserts out of algae cardstock and a slim wavy border as well. And finally, we have two bands. I am going to work on the front panel first and cut an opening out of it. I am taping the die right in the middle of my wood grain panel and running it through my die cutting machine, and then we get a nice window panel. And I could leave this panel just as it is now, but you know that I always like to add texture to my papers. So I am going to add shadows on the edges using vintage photo distressing first, and then a little bit of brown espresso. This will bring more depth to my scene, and as always I am going to add splatters using the same inks. I let my panel dry a couple of minutes and now I am going to stick the bands at the back of my wood grain panel. They both have a score line on each end, so I am folding those score lines first, and I am going to add double-sided tape on the small tabs on each end. I am going to flip my panel over, grab a band and bend the tabs behind, and I am going to place the band right between the notch and the edge of the window, making sure to line up the notch on the band with the notch on the panel. Now let's work on the panel that goes in the back, and we are going to create a bamboo forest background using the amazing bamboo stencils and oxide inks. I am going to add a first simple layer using Salvage Patina oxide ink. I am applying the ink all over the panel to create a nice and even base. And I am going to use the bamboo stencils along with Peacock Feathers oxide ink to add a cute and fun bamboo pattern to my panel. With the stencil 1, I am applying the ink with a light hand, and with the stencil 2 and 3, I will use a heavier hand to create a contrast between the bamboo sticks and the leaves. For the texture, I am going with water splatters, peacock feathers oxide ink and water splatters, and white ink and water splatters. So the back panel is all done, let's just put it aside to dry and move on to the side panels. Just like the back panel, I am going to add a first layer using Modlon oxide ink. And you will see that I am not applying the ink towards the very edge of my panel because that part is going to fold and be attached. And double-sided tape sticks better when there is no ink on the paper, so that's why I am not adding ink to this section of the panel. So we did the base, now let's add a jungle pattern to this panel. I am using the tropical leaves background stencils and rustic wilderness oxide ink. And just like before, I am adding texture to my panel, water splatters, rustic wilderness oxide ink and water splatters, white ink and water splatters, and when I make a tropical card, I always like to bring more contrast by adding black soot oxide ink and water splatters. So here is a close-up look of the first side panel. I did the second one off screen. And I also added texture to the wavy border and inserts using the same products. Everything is dry, so we can start assembling the diorama. I am first going to fold the side panels on the score lines. I am going to place them just like that, with the large section on each side of the screen. And I am going to use those dies to cut slots out of both panels. The die with the foot on the left goes on the left panel, and the die with the foot on the right goes on the panel on the right. I am going to place the die on the middle section of the panel, right between the score lines, and with the bottom edges lined up. I am using washi tape to keep the die in place, and I am going to place the other die on the second panel. A quick run through my die cutting machine, and we get 2 slots on each panel. I am going to add double-sided tape on the slim sections with no ink, and bring the bamboo panel back. On the panel on the left, I am removing the backing papers. I am folding the panel in half, and I am going to stick it to the bamboo panel, making sure to line up the edges just like that. We can do the same with the second side panel, removing the backing papers, folding it in half, and we are going to place it and stick it right up against the first side panel. This way we make sure that both panels are lined up. Now to the simple hillside inserts. They both have small tabs on the 4 corners, so we are going to fold each of those tiny tabs, and we are going to feed each end of the hillside insert through the slot just like that. And once the tiny tabs are on the other side of the panel, we can unfold them, and this way we are making sure that the inserts will stay in place inside the diorama. So now I just need to stick the slim wavy border at the bottom of the front panel, and then we can complete the diorama. We just have to feed the side panel on the left through the sleeve on the left at the back of the front panel, and then the second side panel through the other sleeve, just like so. And our diorama is all done. I love this tropical scene. I think it turned out very beautiful. So now it is time to do some coloring. Here I already had a bit of fun and placed the images on a sample panel to get a general idea of the scene and see how many images I needed to fill the diorama. So all the images were stamped using lawnfawn jet black ink and cut using the coordinating dies. And I am going to use my Ohuhu markers to color everything. I am starting with the cute pandas, and I want to add a little bit of shadow to the white parts. So I am using light shades of gray. I am adding the darker gray along the black lines. Next, I am adding the lighter gray over the darker gray. And then I am using my colorless marker to blend the colors towards the black lines. So I am all done with the images. Now we can start attaching them all, starting with the front panel. I am first adding the vine at the top of the window, but at the back, and then more images on the front using 1mm and 2mm foam squares and liquid glue as well. So I removed the hillside inserts to attach the images more easily, and I wasn't sure about this rock and thought it was too big and would stop the diorama from closing properly. So I placed the insert back into the slots and realized it was all good, so I kept going and stuck the other images. But you will see in a moment that I had to remove bamboo images from the front insert piece because they were blocking the mechanism. So we are almost done, we just need to add a greeting and the handles. My greeting, I stamped and embossed it on yellow cardstock using clear embossing ink and white embossing powder. I used the circle die from the Magic Messages coordinating die set to cut it, and I want my greeting to go on the front of the diorama, so I cut it in half, and I am going to stick the left side of the circle on the left side panel and the right side of the circle on the side panel on the right. And for the handles, I cut them out of tide pool cardstock to match with the ladybugs and with the bamboo background. I folded both pieces in half, and I am using liquid glue to stick a handle on each end of the side panel, just like that. And that's it, a new tropical interactive Tada diorama scene. Super cute and fun, and I hope that you like it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye!